A former zookeeper has blended her love of wildlife with her passion for art in an exhibition that reflects her Chinese and Australian heritage. This week, top-end painter Jasmine Jan's work went on show at the Territory Craft Gallery. The vibrant colours and mix of Western and Chinese watercolour techniques have brought rave reviews for Jasmine Jan, and the exhibition has become a sell-out success. Claire Mackey has this story.
At Lamble's Lagoon on a peaceful bush block, one top-end artist gathers inspiration.
Often an idea for a painting will come when I'm bushwalking or taking the dog for a walk. Yesterday I was walking down the bottom boundary and I could hear hundreds of rainbow bee-eaters chipping, and I looked up and I could see all these rainbow bee-eaters just swirling around. They must have been catching insects just on sunset. And it just gave me the idea for another painting, looking from a different perspective, which I normally wouldn't paint from.
Darwin-born artist Jasmine Jan admits she spends many hours watching birds and other wildlife on her property south of Darwin.
My passion for wildlife, I try to reflect that in my artwork. You'll find a lot of wildlife painters want to help in the conservation of wildlife, and if it's through appreciating the beauty or seeing an animal from a different perspective through an artist's eyes, that's one way that you could do it.
Magpie geese are a favourite subject.
When the billabong starts to contract, we get literally hundreds of water birds coming in, and magpie geese come in huge flocks. And they're a really interesting bird because they're quite bumbly and sort of comical, and they've got a lot of personality. And so often, like in a lot of the paintings, I've just painted the head with the face and the expression.
Back in her home studio, and Jasmine's wildlife transforms into a vibrant East meets West watercolour painting.
When I actually go to sit down and paint the painting, it sounds funny, but the painting's been done because I know exactly how I'm going to do it and how I'm going to approach it. And that's because watercolour is a medium that you really have to plan well in advance. It's not a medium that you can sort of put a few strokes in and then change your mind and rub back or do change colours or whatever. Basically, you need to know what you're doing.
As the birds sing all around her, Jasmine paints. And the blend of techniques used in this self-taught style mirrors her own Chinese-Australian heritage.
It's a combination of Western watercolour techniques and Eastern or Chinese brush painting techniques. And when people have seen my watercolours for the first time, they always comment how bright they are and how vivid they are, and it's not your typical watercolour. And then the next comment is, oh, they look very Japanesey or Chinesey, and then I say to them, well, that's actually done on purpose, so that's good. Obviously I'm achieving it.
Last week, more than 200 people gathered at the Territory Craft Gallery in Darwin to launch Jasmine Jan's latest exhibition.
I was really excited because I knew that this body of work was actually quite a significant body of work that I'd finished. But on the night, when all the people started pouring in, I was just overwhelmed, and it was just sort of a cross between really happy and really excited and like totally petrified, because everybody's looking at you and everybody wants to talk to you, and it's just, yeah, it was very overwhelming.
The exhibition's called Wild Water Coloured Dust.
Incredibly popular event. I really enjoyed myself as a participant. She's capturing something unique about the Northern Territory, and in particular Northern Territory fauna, the beautiful bird life, and also her watercolours of fish and rays. We often, if we don't go underwater, you often don't get to appreciate the beautiful colours and the movement of those creatures, and she's captured it just beautifully in her work.
Many of the Chinese techniques in these paintings have been inspired by US-based artist Lian Chuan-jen, whose book Jasmine Jan first picked up several years ago.
My dream would actually be able to bring over the Chinese artist whose book I read and who inspired me so much. And I've been in contact with him via email, and yeah, that would be great to be able to bring him over and work with him. So yeah, maybe one day we'll have to build a shed for him as well.
Jasmine Jan wants her work to constantly evolve. She's keen to learn from other artists and isn't ruling out using different mediums. But she maintains that a life without art is not an option.
I have to do it. It's not a, oh, it's nice to do it. I actually have to paint to be happy. And I've had that conversation with a lot of different artists, and they say that is true, that it's actually part of who you are.